Yeah, did you hear Trump say the word Los Angeles this week?
No.
It's so funny. He says, I think it's actually in his speech where he's responding to the fact that Biden has stage 4 cancer. It's like,
I did see that he said stage 9 cancer, actually.
oh, yeah. He goes, stage 9 cancer, but I'm very healthy. He lied to you. He wasn't healthy. And I'm like, that perhaps is not the point here, sir. But he talks about Los Angeles and he says like, Los Angeles. And it's,
Oh, like the cough thing.
yeah, kind of.
Yeah, we all know
But
he's unwell.
worse.
He's going to have a seizure any day. That with how much McDonald's he has, like his BMI, he's done. Like he's not going to last the full term.
Yeah. Wait, hold on. I actually have a sound clip of it. Listen to this.
Los Angeles is not looking too good.
Did you hear it?
Not sounded too good either.
Los Angeles. Oh. No, and then, God, what's her face talking about habeas corpus today and her describing it wildly incorrectly. And then the person interviewing her is like, no. And then she goes, Lincoln used it. So fucking funny, dude.
It's equal parts
it's
like
tragic.
hilarious and also really not funny at all, even a little bit. Like
No, the dystopian,
you know what I mean?
yeah, the
None of
dystopian
this-
world we live in, not hilarious. The irony of being fucking aware of it, kind of funny.
None of this is funny. None of this is laugh worthy, but the fact that it happens makes me laugh. Does that make sense? It shouldn't.
I think it's the absurdity of like, I think in books and history, you always think of the people taking over as, I don't know, intelligent and like masterful in the way that they took over or manipulative. And this is just like person after person being highly underqualified and not knowing what the fuck they're talking about, and then being like, well, it doesn't matter because I'm going to ignore this anyway.
Yeah.
Fucking crazy.
Are you reading Dungeon Crawler Carl?
No, not yet. I just started. Did you ever
Oh
watch
my
Altered
God.
Carbon when it came out?
I did watch it when it came out, and then I stopped watching it, and then it wasn't good, and I didn't like it anymore, and
Oh,
I don't
really?
know.
Damn. As in, like, it wasn't good when it switched to season 2, or you just, like, watched it for a couple episodes and it just wasn't your jam?
No. It was my jam, because, like, everything about it is, like, awesome. There's a hologram of Edgar Allan Poe that, like, inhibits the character, and it's cyberpunk, and it's, like, immortality. Like, all of it's my thing, but I think after the first season, I was like, okay, I get it.
That's how
really
I felt, too. I think it's not that the other actor who plays Kovacs does a bad job.
No,
I just
Anthony
think the
Mackie's
first guy,
fantastic.
yeah, I think the first guy set such like a precedent, and the storyline in the first season was so good that it's like no matter how good he was in the second season, the story like wasn't as engaging. And switching halfway through when you've like gotten very attached to these other characters and their relationships together is so hard.
I mean,
Like, it doesn't set him up for success.
With the way the universe works, it makes sense that they'd like change actors out. Like that's fine. And that wasn't even my issue. I don't know. I just kind of got bored with it. Like after the first story, I'm like, all right, so we're done. I don't need to be here anymore.
That's kind of what I mean.
The next
though,
story
like,
that came in wasn't hooking me enough, so I was like,
yeah.
Meh.
That's kind of what
You
I
know
mean.
what I
Like,
have?
no matter how good Anthony Mackie was, like it's just following up that story and trying to keep it in the same realm is so hard.
I have been watching Bet on Netflix. If you haven't checked that out yet,
What's that one about?
it's like I saw it and like it looked just like the anime Kakaguri, and I'm like, okay. So I put it on, and it is actually the Netflix English adaptation of the anime/manga Kakaguri, which is about like a high school of gambling, and everybody just gambles, and like that's it. That's the story.
That's it. Okay.
But I actually ended up really liking it. Like it's very, very different. It is an adaptation. It's kind of like Cowboy Bebop, where it's like we're not going word for the manga. If you want that, go watch the anime. Don't come to Netflix and be all like, you guys ruined it. No, you could still watch the anime. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm just so sick of like the gatekeeping and the bitching about adaptations. There's also a Japanese live action that's also faithful. Like I don't know why both things can't exist. If it's an adaptation, but it's like not terrible, Death Note, then I think it's acceptable.
Yeah, I feel like people need to understand the concept of what an adaptation is, but also creators need to be upfront about if that's what it is. Because sometimes I think I've been talking about this about the Last of Us, and then I also recently reread and rewatched Hunger Games. Of like, you can add things into a story or shift around pieces, but you have to do it in a way where your writing is true to those characters still. Because once you lose that part, like that's when it becomes bad. But
I
if
think
you keep those things, it's like you as a viewer just need to understand that like it's we're playing with the world a little bit, but as long as the characters are true to themselves, like it really shouldn't be that big of a deal.
Yeah, like the core plot needs to be there, but like the steps around on how that journey takes place, I think is allowed to change.
Yeah, can be flexible.
You said Last of Us, but there was also another one that was on my mind, and it's gone now.
Did you ever read Hunger Games?
I did, yes.
I
Catching Fire was one of my favorite books for a long time.
Agreed. I thought that one was fabulous. I had never read the third one, so I finally just reread the series from the beginning and finished the third one. And then I watched the movies. And I remember when I was younger watching the first movie come out and being like, fuck, they changed these two things that I felt were crucial. Rewatching them, I'm like, the first two films are bordering on like word for word the books outside of, what they do with the pin being different. Holy fuck, though. The last two movies for the third book are so wildly, like, just lacking emotional depth and moments in the books that are really important, and just, like, all of the emotions that are involved in those scenes. And they fall so aggressively flat in comparison. It's crazy how hard it went downhill in the last two movies.
It's a cash grab.
Yeah, it was just... like, them splitting it into two could have been fine.
The scene that I was mad about that they took out was in the first one, after Katniss gets bit by, like, a tracker jacker, I think is what it is. She, like, sees somebody's, like, face melt off. And I'm like, there's no way they're going to show that in the movie. And they didn't. And
no,
I don't know what I was expecting.
No, and it would have been cool, but they did not. They definitely kind of like dumbed down the children murdering each other a little bit for the film, which I get.
Sure.
Welcome to We Have That Podcast at Home, the only podcast that's losing me money because I have to pay for therapy to continue hosting with Gamage. I'm on-brand Rachel.
I'm on-brand Gamage, and I'm also losing money, but probably more than Rachel is. She doesn't know it.
Because you go to more therapy? Or because you keep betting that I'll be a better host and losing?
Sure, yes, that.
Okay.
Each week we spin a wheel to see what next week's podcast is going to be. We hit pop culture. So we decided movies, and we decided we're going to tackle the behemoth of Star Wars.
Yeah, we're going to get deep. You know how we went into a full analysis of Neverending Story? That's what we're about to do with Star Wars.
Yeah, so anybody who's spent like an hour around me knows that I like about 2% of Star Wars. Like space wizards, laser swords, I'm locked in. Everything else, I don't care. But I gotta say, the rest of it, and even most of the Jedi shit, which I think is cool, is also kind of stupid. You all definitely want our Star Wars opinions, right? That's why you clicked on this, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
I know I want your Star Wars opinions.
So we're reviewing one of my favorite Star Wars movies ever, Caravan of Gamage. Sorry, Caravan of Courage. It's a movie that is written and made by George Lucas. It is in the Star Wars canon. I don't care that Disney bought it and went, no, that's not canon anymore. This happened for like 20 years. This was in the fucking lore. You can't just like, oh, we're going to retcon this now. No, You can't do it that. You can't retroactively do it that when it's that far ahead.
Much like you can't retcon your terrible girlfriend that you don't want to claim being your ex, you cannot retcon this film.
Yeah, like if it's within recent years, I feel like there's a statute of limitations of like, oh well, that didn't count. You know, like you have to declare it pretty quickly, but you can't buy something and then like gut it out and be like, this is fine, that is not. Especially when the shit you're making now is equally as bad. As bad.
Look, habeas corpus outlines that you only have 3 months to decide if you're taking something out of canon or placing it into canon after it's been created.
But regardless of all that, this came out after Return of the Jedi. I'm a level with y'all because sometimes it feels like you guys, you know who you are, keep trying to tell me that Star Wars used to be good and only got bad recently because woke or some nonsense. But I'm here to tell you that it's always been a big fucking mess. George Lucas is a messy spaghetti boy who requires a professional to rein him in, or else we get shit like Caravan of Palace. Like, he had people that were like, that had to cut out the shit. Like, when he was like making episode 4, the original Star Wars movie, he had all of these other things, and everybody kept like cutting shit away and being like, no. He had a lot of hand holding happened. And that's why episode 4 and also Empire Strikes Back, sure, are seen as these beautiful masterpieces. And like originally, yeah, they're pretty good. I'll say it too. I don't even like Star Wars. They're great movies. There's an actual weighted argument there. But if George Lucas is allowed free reign, it gets weird and bad.
That's how we got Jar Jar Binks.
And right when the movies, the series were starting to look interesting, I'm talking about the new sequels, by the way, they fucking caved to the biggest babies on the internet, and that's how we got like this somehow Palpatine has returned nonsense. Let the record show that when everyone and their mother, when episode 7, I think, came out, they were theorizing Rey's origins, like, ooh, maybe she's a Skywalker or a Kenobi. I was like the only person saying, like, I think she's a Palpatine. And the fact I was right means it was a bad decision to do. I shouldn't have been right.
Who has no loyalty to the franchise, throwing that out, which I actually do remember you saying that, so can corroborate. Yeah, you shouldn't have been right.
Cran Corroborate is my favorite cranberry juice smoothie.
Also, you said Caravan of Palace, and that made me laugh.
No, I said Caravan of Gamage.
No, you said Caravan of Gamage, and then when you talked about it just now, you said Caravan of Palace. You'll hear it when you... But it made me laugh because the movie's so inconsequential, your brain was like, we're replacing this with something better.
Yeah. But yeah, you get what I'm saying. My wild, off-the-wall...
should not have been remotely
dickhole
close to
poop
correct.
theories should not be the core writing. I'm ranting. We need to move on. All right, we're doing Caravan of Courage, not Caravan of Palace, not Caravan of Gamage. There's a famous YouTube channel that named their channel Caravan of Garbage because they reviewed this movie so harshly, and that's all they do now is review movies. They're a great channel. I recommend them. But that's how bad this movie is. It's not good.
It's so bad.
I remember people bitching about like the way that The Last Jedi. I kind of want to do a episode on Last Jedi to talk about it because I unironically kind of enjoy Last Jedi.
Okay. I'm down.
But like there's like a lot of things in there where just like the Force doesn't work like that. And I'm like, I watched the Force do some bonkers things in the Ewok Adventure movies. So
yeah,
incorrect.
False.
Maybe the Force is kind of whatever it feels like because that's kind of what it is.
Yeah, the Force is like a mischievous elf that steals your socks. It just sort of like wants what it wants.
All right. I wrote down here Caravan of Courage movie facts.
There are none.
I don't have any. I didn't take the time to do it because I didn't care.
The only fact about this, and I know this simply because I heard it and went, I know this voice. The fucking narrator is the snowman from Rudolph. It's Burl Ives. I
didn't even clock that.
My brain clocked it the second he started talking about it. And I was like, I'm watching a Christmas film now. And I'm waiting for a little fat snowman to come ride through in his little claymation fashion at the end of this and be like, and that's all.
I mean, it would have been an improvement. I didn't
Vast
clock that
improvement.
because I didn't really like those movies. Yeah, there is a narrator in this movie because there has to be. That kind of tells you what we're getting into. Let's
Yeah,
start the
it's not
movie.
a
Let's
strong start.
start in the movie. There's no text crawl. The normal Star Wars things. I get that some Star Wars movies didn't have it, like that were outside of like the main episodes. But this is the first one to come out that. Oh no, I guess the Christmas special didn't either.
And
Oh,
that
never
was
mind.
also a bastard, so
Have you seen that one?
bits and pieces. I've never seen the whole thing.
I've seen more people talk about it than I have actually. I think I watched it once and I
I think
was
we've
drunk.
talked about it. I'm gonna just take mushrooms and watch it. I'll let you know how I feel.
So, beginning of the movie it's an aftermath of a crash landing on the forest moon of Endor. There's two parents and two children who've crash landed here. You remember the forest moon of Endor? Ewoks. The two children are named Sindel and Mace. I don't know anybody else's name in this movie. Like, the Ewoks have names. I didn't care to write them down. I don't care. Anyway, so the parents are giving great exposition regarding the situation. I can't believe we came all this way and we walked away and our children are missing now and now we're looking for them. It's so much fun, guys.
Yeah, it's so good. And the acting is incredible.
It's so good. Fact checker only remembers the Ewok named Deeg. Yeah. I mean, Wicket. Wicket's the main Ewok that you need to know. Played by Warwick Davis, legendary Warwick Davis. Everything else he's done is way better than this.
I saw that Warwick Davis was in this, and the fact that he is an Ewok that just does like, I mean, not fuck all, because he does a lot, but it's just like, oh god, there's so many better things that you're in.
Rachel, he was the Ewok. He started like he was like 5 years old or something when he played Wicket in the original Return of the Jedi.
No. Yeah, I know. I meant in this particular film.
I mean, yeah.
He's like, to be fair, he's the only Ewok that actually fucking performs actions.
Yeah.
Of any consequence. But, yeah.
So we're back to the movie. There's a Minotaur-looking thing. He comes smashing through the trees and then fade to black. What we don't see is that he captures them, but like it's kind of just implied. So the Ewoks in this are talking. They're all like yub nub. We can't understand them, but it's fine because, you know, they speak Ewok-ese. And
yeah, did you watch this with subtitles?
I did, yes. It just says speaking Ewok-ese.
Okay. At the very beginning, it, at least on Disney Plus, which is where I watched it, a lot of the words for the Ewoks were fully typed out.
Yeah, they are for, you know, they were for me too. But like a lot of the time it was just speaking Ewok-ese if it was getting too complicated. Like the transcriptors like, I can't do all of this.
Yeah, it was like the first couple sentences, they were like, yes. And then they went, no, for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, yes, thank you, fact checker. I was getting there. Ewok-ese is an actual language. Most of Star Wars has such a deep lore that there is full-on languages that are written out. So like the fact that this is here, that doesn't parse with me because it's like, yeah, that's it's like Klingon in Star Trek. Like of course it's going to be there. Of course they're going to say it. That's fine.
Yeah.
The first thing I noticed is that they have a goat, a normal ass goat. And that's something that stays in this movie is that they just have a lot of just farm animals, earth farm animals.
Yeah, it's giving Endor was Earth and we just renamed it vibes.
I mean,
I just don't see.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it was filmed like up here. 'Cause you can tell all the redwood trees and shit.
I actually have a joke in my notes later of, do you think that this movie was the Star Wars movie that was filmed in Humboldt? And they were like, yeah, we're in Star Wars. We're in the cool ones.
Return of the Jedi was in it.
I know, it's a joke. I know that they actually filmed the legit Star Wars films here, but it would be fucking hilarious if it was just these ones.
If it's as an Ewok, then it was up here. So Wicket is here. Wicket played by Warwick Davis. He's the only good Ewok. And we're told that Deej, the narrator tells us Deej, the Ewok named Deej, it's the only one I wrote down here, isn't that funny? Has fashioned a skin glider to search for his sons in the air. His sons are missing, and I don't know why they had to specify that it's a skin glider. and
I
what
don't
skin it
either.
came from.
And I also would like to point out that the way this narrator talks about this film, for pretty much the first like 3/4 of it, sounds like a nature documentary about Ewoks. Because he's
Yeah.
like, and here we see Deej talking out to his youngest child about the 2 older missing children, and he's gonna get on the skin glider, and oh, look at him go. But it's like that for like
And
an
that's
hour.
gold for Ireland.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have preferred if this was just kind of like a National Geographic-esque kind of like
Oh, it would have
documentary,
been so much
like a
better.
fake documentary. Because
Yeah.
like there are some like YouTubers who like do a whole Pokemon Safari one where it's like talking about like the Magikarp, and like it's like done in CG and they do it well, and those are awesome. And I feel like we need more fake documentaries on that kind of thing.
Yes, it would, especially with like lore that's so built up around certain stories, that fake documentaries about the creatures and like the historical happenings would be so cool. And this movie, if it
There
were
would actually be an audience
Ewok,
for it.
yeah, if there was an Ewok documentary as this movie instead of what it was, would have been so much better. I would have enjoyed the crap out of watching it.
So the Ewok, whose name I don't remember, is gliding around, and he sees his gopher-ass looking sons on the side of a cliff. So he lands and just ditches his glider, and then they all walk back. And on the way back, they come across the wreckage of the ship where the children are.
I had an epiphany while watching this because I walked away from the screen at one point, and it kind of like the sounds that they make, and I understand they're speaking Ewokese and it's a whole language that people have created, so I'm not trying to diminish that. But were Ewoks like minions before minions? Because they sound very similar when you're not looking.
Kind of,
so I
because
feel like
there's
they were like
a whole
the hit
audience.
thing.
Oh, there's a whole audience that would just bash your head with them, and you'd see them everywhere. Actually, not Ewoks so much, but like the thing about minions, I hate minions. I think they're stupid, and the thing I hate most about them is like they're just a dumb little fucking kids movie cartoon character. Fine, that's fine. But the fact that everybody's obsessed with them, people have Crocs with fucking minions on them, and like they've got their text thing banana, and they wear like shirts with it on it, is just like, you're 40, you need to chill out.
Everybody needs to take a step back.
Yeah. Fact checker, you're right. Is that Crazy Frog was minions before minions? Yeah. I feel like Ewoks, not enough people like them enough. Ewoks are pretty much the majority of fandoms don't like them.
Oh yeah, I guess I got a lot of hate when they first came out too, by like
Also,
the older
after they
generation
came
that like
out.
Star Wars.
So they do come across the wreckage, and hiding inside the wreckage where the parents just were and couldn't find their kids is the young human daughter, Sindel. And then all of a sudden, her older brother, Mace, comes in guns a-blazing just moments later. And he looks just like a budget Luke Skywalker, like dumb haircut, orange jumpsuit, everything.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I just sent a photo because I grabbed it earlier, and it's like he's the Wish version of Luke Skywalker.
They had Luke Skywalker, and they're like, we need a character that's like this. They're trying to emulate Star Wars, even though we just got done making Star Wars. And also, I'm the guy that made Star Wars, and I'm trying to emulate my previous work that I just did, but amphetamines or something.
I struck gold. I'd like to do it again.
So the Ewoks fuck him up and take the children back to their village. They have him like tied up too.
Which is where we see that they also have normal llamas.
Yeah, earth animals everywhere. There's a scene where the Ewoks are like manhandling Mace, and he's like, "Get off me!" But then like they untie him, and then immediately he's like nice, and he's like, "Oh, can we have some food?" And like during this time, Sindel immediately passes out from being sick or something. And then the Ewoks are bringing the food, and Mace is like, "We don't need any food," and I don't know why this whole scene was here. He could have just been like, she fell sick, and he's like, "Oh no," so they like untie him because they're worried about her or some shit. This whole thing was stupid.
Yeah, there are many of those in this film, and that's just the beginning. I do also really like every time the brother says Sindel. I know it's Sindel, but I just hear him say sandal.
Well, that's because you got your brain dumb and you have weird fixations. I guess it helps that like, I don't know, like I get more exotic names in my brain, and like there's also the character Sindel from Mortal Kombat, so I had precedent.
Yeah, that might be why you're hearing it more. It's only when he like yells her name that it just sounds like sandal
Yeah.
repeatedly.
But I noticed that one of the Ewoks continuously says Feech. Like every time something happens, he just shakes his head and just goes Feech. And I'm pretty sure it just means fuck in Ewokese. And yeah, we do see horses too, which can ignore that for now. So we're skipping around, but Sindel looks like death and is staring off into the void. And the acting in this movie is without description. But I gotta say, her acting right here, it's like they gave her cancer just to like film this one part, because she kind of convinces me that she's about to fade out.
Yeah, she absolutely is like fully on death's door. I thought a significantly larger portion of this film plot, the plot, was going to be around this child almost dying. Nah, we're about to solve it in the next 30 seconds.
Yeah, she has a 1,000-yard stare, and she's just like, I hear the cats calling. The cats, Jeremy, the cats. And the narrator explains that there's a special tree that is used to make the drug for little girl. Thank you, narrator. And then after wandering around clearly a redwood forest, they find it, and Mace is distracted by a furry squirrel thing in the hole of a tree. So he immediately goes elbows deep in for some reason. And then we learn that it's a giant tree snake that's trying to eat him. So the Ewoks rescue him again.
Also, if Feech is fuck, I think Lurdo must be shit, because they also say that one. When they're done pulling him out of the tree, they're like, oh, Lurdo.
Or they might be calling
shit.
Lurdo might just be this
dumbass.
dumb cunt bitch.
Yeah, I like that. It translates directly to this dumb cunt bitch. Full sentence.
So they give the medicine to Sindel, and then the Ewoks also try to mend to Mace's arm, but it's the wrong arm. He had his right arm in there.
That
and
was
then,
so
now
fucking
it's the left
funny.
arm. It's dumb little things that the editor should have caught, but they didn't, and that's
because there was a lot of care put into this film.
Exactly. It's just it's just another thing to show that this movie's a fucking mess. So that's an oopsie. So Sindel is immediately, or maybe there's a time skip, who knows, is feeling better, and she's playing with the Ewok's ferret. It's just a ferret, like a ferret. So that plot is over.
Yeah, done and solved.
So she's trying to explain what a star cruiser is. She's like, a star cruiser, and the Ewok is like a horse, right? And it picks up a horse and it's just like, horse, star cruiser.
Okay,
Thank you, fact checker. Lurdo is idiot.
Yeah, like we said, you dumb cunt bitch.
Oh, you also posted a picture of Sindel.
Oh, hey. I was wondering what that was, because I have no context for who that is, and I was like, why did Brittany just post a BDSM dominatrix? Also, in the Ewok's defense, and I know this is a small 6-year-old actor, I'm not making fun of her, but I'm making fun of the character. Her hand symbols for Star Cruiser look like a fish, which horse, not a great option, but I could get that perhaps there's a language barrier going on here.
At least it's still in the animal kingdom.
Yeah.
Speaking of Animal Kingdom, there's a chicken in the background. Moving on. So Mace is trying to explain, once he gets his gun back, see, they're going to get out of here, meaning he's going to kill them all.
Also, where the fuck does this kid think he's going to go? You
back
don't know
to
shit
ship?
about this planet.
Yeah, I don't know. He mentions later, offhandedly, we shouldn't have went away when we did. And that's when the parents were at the ship. Well, and it's weird because where did they go? He just took Sindel and they're wandering off in the forest in the middle of the night.
Yeah, I don't fucking understand a whole lot of this plot goings on, because the parents were next to the ship when it crashed. And I'm like, was the inside of the ship not the first fucking place you checked? Because apparently this kid's super attached to staying there, so I can't imagine he wandered off. And now they're in they're in a hut where it's warm and they're being taken care of, and this fucking Lurdo's I'm gonna take a recently ill, almost dead child out of this warm hut into foreign woods full of who knows what for a midnight run to a ship that the Ewoks are aware of the location, and I am not, but fuck it, let's go.
Yeah,
what?
Well, he does explain we shouldn't have snuck off when we did regarding the ship part. He does
Yeah.
say that. I think around a campfire.
The going
But
back to the ship is not what I take umbrage with. It's his like desire to sneak the fuck out in the middle of the night after stealing his gun back instead of just being like, "Yo, Ewoks, can you show us the ship? We need to leave a
yeah.
note." Like there's
Well,
other fucking options here.
he does mention that they're like these are wild animals. They're not smart. They're not like us. He definitely has a superiority complex over these guys.
On that note, the small child, Sindel, he goes, "These are animals." And she goes, "No, they're not. I like them," which implies she fucking hates animals.
They do sneak out in the dead of night, and I say the dead of night, but it's like the ugly night filter over a very, very sunny afternoon, and I'm not fooled, and I hate that. Like, I feel like you could do the night filter and like make it kind of work, but it's 90% of the time I'm like, that's a night filter. It's I can see the sun rays coming through the trees. Like you didn't do a
You're
good enough job
filtering
at this.
midday.
Like you
Also,
got to do
did
it
you-
early or late.
Did you catch the werewolf in that scene?
Yeah, I moved on because it was just a background thing. Like, there's a wolf howling at the moon. It means nothing.
Well, it just the part that got me is
it
like
meant
it was very
nothing.
traditional. Like the angle it was filmed, it looked like a poster for a fucking werewolf movie. I was like, this is so silly.
Yeah, and then we never see it again, showing that it was unimportant, just like this conversation is.
Moving on.
Oh, I'm glad you're taking ahead on that. They build a fire. They have terrible dialogue. There's too much talking in this movie.
Hey, did you at all catch at any point how their ship crashed?
No, but he is wearing the orange pilot jumpsuit.
Yes.
So
And the way that he talks about it is like, I fucked up so bad every time he actually divulges having feelings about this situation. And I cannot surmise anything other than this child must have crashed this ship.
well, that's because you missed the part where he was saying I fucked up so bad because we wandered off, and that's when our parents got captured.
No, because he's
That's what
talking
that
about.
was. Go watch
No.
the movie again, bitch. I don't have time to I don't have the crayons or the patience for you, Rachel.
Yeah, but I have the yarn to connect these thoughts.
You go ahead. Make
And
the
the
big board.
thumbtacks.
It's gonna be Always Sunny in Philadelphia all over again.
Peach politely translates to dang. And Lurdo is apparently loser.
Feech means dang, but it's
There's
dang
no
is
way.
basically fuck. It's
It's like, this is like when you go to translate curse words and the internet's too polite to tell you what it actually means.
fact checker. Part of me wants to thank you for including all of these Ewokese phrases because she posted a bunch of them. But I also don't ever want to learn anything else about this than I already have. Please stop.
Safaka. That means truth.
So they're attacked by like a stop motion pig bear and then run into a tree.
The design of this pig bear is of the highest quality. Think like 80s Ninja Turtles.
I mean, it's
actually
stop
wasn't
motion.
bad.
Like, that's,
Yeah.
yeah, it's stop motion.
Its
But they
design
forget
wasn't
to
bad.
use
It's that era of like being moist everywhere.
they forget to use the night filter a couple of times. So like in some of the shots where they're running, it's just like the afternoon and then back to like the afternoon but dark filter.
Yeah, that was fucking hilarious because it was like there was like a whole 2 seconds where it was day.
So
And
yeah,
it's like, oh, just kidding.
it could have just been like early morning to day because they run into a tree and then they sleep there and then wake up to Ewoks fighting it. But they could have just run into the tree and then the Ewoks came and fought it. They could have just avoided a lot of the shit. But what do I know? They are fighting the stop motion pig bear. It doesn't look great. It's stop motion. What do you expect? But it does look infinitely better than CGI would have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Take note, George Lucas.
Please.
Wicket manages to take it down with a poison blow dart.
Also,
I wrote that down, but I don't care. But what?
Yeah. Wicket does 2 cool things that you wrote down, which I feel like, deserves some credit. And the poison blow dart's the first one. I
mean,
feel like the brother has like a weird reverse Stockholm syndrome with these Ewoks, where it's like they're really fucking nice to him and friendly and helpful, and he's like, "No, you're kidnapping me."
do you know the real story behind Stockholm syndrome?
The first time it happened, or like
Yeah, like
what we decided to coin it after.
No, because Stockholm syndrome was like decided after like that. It's hot. Like hostage situation. Like it was named after that. But what they don't tell you is that the police like didn't care about negotiating, and they were just like constantly like, we're just gonna come in and shoot everybody. And the people, the hostages, basically they didn't like cozy up to their captors because like, oh, we're in such a closed space and you're the only person, so I am imprinting on you. No, it was like yeah, those cops do fucking suck. Fuck those guys. It came, yeah. So when it came to the court case, they all didn't refuse to testify, and they basically made it as like they warmed up to the hostage takers, and that's Stockholm syndrome, and that's not it. It's, in fact, Stockholm syndrome really is just contempt for the police, and I'm okay with that.
I'm gonna have to look that up because I like that a lot.
Feel free to. Fact checker probably do it while I'm talking. So they note that the dad's life monitor cup is on the pig bear, and Sindel says that means he's alive. But if it's not on him, I don't know.
I don't think that's good odds.
It feels like maybe there's an explanation that I didn't catch, but it's just like
I don't think there was any explanation. I think they were just like, of course, this must mean this.
I mean, I think they're saying that it's leading to him, or like, you know, like there's a sensor on it or some. I don't know. I'm making shit up. They visit.
Really helping them out here.
I know. I'm like, oh wait, I don't care about.
It could be this.
They visit Lokray, the Ewok mystic, who has a pet owl, like an earth owl, and he spins a big old top, and the top creates an image and reveals that their parents were taken by the giant named Gorax, or so the narrator says.
Also, if this Ewok had the power to find their lost parents from the beginning, why was this not the first 5 minutes of the film? I don't understand why we were like, we're going to wait until we fight this man-bear-pig and find the monitor before we go look for the parents.
Well, because originally the kids came across this tiny, it's not even like an Ewok village. It's just like a cottage where Ewoks just happen to live. They like live away from the village and the other Ewoks. I think. I'm done trying to justify this. The little girl playing Sindel is like, they're trying to make her look sad, but she's clearly not sad in the moment. So they obviously glue some tears to her face, and she's still like deadpan emotionless, like staring past the camera, like ready for a nap. But she's a little girl. No hate.
Yeah. Her line delivery, there's like one emotion that she nails every time, and the rest it's like, oh, okay. Sweet baby. It's going to be okay.
That night, one of the Ewok cries, like they're just walking around crying, and I don't know why, and they don't explain it. I mean, they're Ewoks, so they wouldn't.
Wait, no, they do, actually. When the Mystic is talking about their journey to Gorax, they describe where they're going as a land from which no Ewoks ever returned. So the Ewoks are crying because they fully are going on a suicide mission for these children. Which, poor fucking Ewoks.
I think you're right. Now, look who's defending the movie now. Fuck you. Next morning, they pack up their normal horses. They're just horses. Just horses. Not like alien, like Glee Blacks, where they have like long legs, but they're like snake things. No, they're horses. George Lucas like created this, but also hella phones it in more than anything else.
Yeah, he's like, I'm already famous. I don't need to try.
So they visit Logray, who bestows mystic Ewok treasures.
On their way over there for the loading up the horses, they got like, oh wait, I like stopped paying attention at one point, and he installs his sister into like what looked like to me when I queued back in the ass of a creature, kind of like a reverse Ace Ventura situation. And it's
like,
just
we're not
like
even there yet, but okay.
I know, I'm sorry. I skipped forward a little bit on accident. It was like a weird horse hut that looks wildly heavy for a single horse to carry that they just pile into.
Yeah, it's like a tent on a horse, and I don't know why it exists, but I'm not an Ewok, so...
It looks like a bean because it just drapes over the horse. It's
like a pile of laundry on a horse.
Yeah, basically, actually, yeah. That's kind of the best shape to describe it as.
So the Ewok treasures are like some headbands of like red wings of courage and blue wings of something else. and another pair of wings. I wasn't paying a lot of attention, but there's a magic walking stick for Wicket. Sindel gets a magic candle, and Mace gets a rock. Like the Charlie Brown "I got a rock" gag. I think that's what they were aiming for. There's also like some crystal and like a tooth for other Ewoks that aren't here but are definitely going to join later.
Yeah, and then Mace just like ditches his rock that this Ewok mystic gives him. Couldn't
Yeah,
at all possibly present a consequence later.
I mean, it's not a consequence. He's like, later they're like, we need the rock. And he's like, I don't have the rock. And somebody's like, I picked it up. That's it. Done.
Yeah.
So
Problem resolved.
It wasn't worth putting it in the movie. It also wasn't worth bringing it up.
I just don't understand why they didn't have him just like stick it in his pocket.
Because
there's so many extra things in this film that aren't worth fucking doing.
I know. They meet some woodsman Ewok, and he beats Mace in an axe throwing contest.
Okay, do you feel like the woodsman Ewok looked like Mr. T?
I mean,
I think it was his little vest and his like chain thing that he had.
But
he was giving off Mr. T vibes.
I suppose this Ewok is darker than the others and has like a bone necklace that could be considered a gold chain necklace if you really strain your eyes.
I think it was the little red vest that did it for me, and the necklace. But thank you.
I mean, you know what? They might have actually done it on purpose. Like the more I'm thinking about it, like I'm not putting these together, but they might have.
They were like, we need to insert this somehow.
So they stop again to recruit an Ewok priestess, but she gives the children a test first. They call her an Ewok priestess. What's the Ewok religion?
Who the fuck knows?
Probably some Force shit.
Summon ferrets. Who knows?
Yeah. Said test is putting the crystal into Mace's hand, so it turns into a lizard and he goes, and drops it. But then Sindel picks it up and turns into a mouse. And this is like a metaphor for the crushing weight of capitalism or something.
Yeah, I actually looked this up. It's actually about the economic disparity between men and women, and their take on this little thing was quite progressive at the time. The lizard meant that Mace was a douche, and the mouse meant that Sindel was less of a douche.
But still a douche.
Yeah, just a little bit less.
So Wicket and Sindel are playing cricket while Mace touches a pond and then is immediately teleported into the drowning pond. I fucking lost it.
I'm so glad I'm not the only one that laughed at a child drowning. Because the second he got teleported in, I was like, yes.
He's just like looking at a pond. He's like, what? And he like just touches the surface of it and he just like vanishes. And then it's like shows him underwater just waving his hands.
There are so many, they do so many pan backs because they obviously like do the back and forth of him under the water and then them trying to figure out how to get him out of the water. But every time they do it, it's him pressing his face against this like little piece of glass under the surface.
Because there's like some barrier or some shit. Because like every time something touches the water, it just disappears and gets trapped underneath with him.
Yeah, it just poofs.
But Wicket uses his magic stick to reach Mace. Like it just goes down and he's able to pull himself back up. And that was the purpose of the walking stick, I guess.
Yeah. Everything is very convenient in this film.
There's a scene where Wicket is jumping while grabbing a tree branch, doing that like bouncing thingy, you know, kids do. And it spooks a horse carrying Sindel, so it runs off. And the woodsman Ewok, I could be wrong, seemingly transforms into an adult man. So he could ride the horse in a chase sequence without it looking terrible.
That is absolutely what happens, because the size ratio of these Ewoks to these kids in a normal scene, wildly different than this chase scene of him as a fully grown adult man jumping on the back of a horse.
He just looks like a man in a bear costume.
Yeah, absolutely. They also, when they finally return, so there's obviously the whole chase sequence deal. When they finally return, they act like it's been fucking hours. And, like, realistically, it's probably been, like, 15 minutes, guys. Like, everybody calm the fuck down.
I mean, they don't know what happened. Like, the horse ran off with the little girl, and then that was it. Anything could have happened.
What was the point of this scene?
I don't know, to show that the woodsman Ewok has the totem power of the tortoise.
The tooth.
Anyway, we got forget that useless scene. We have a very important scene to talk about that's not
Yes.
useless at all. That night, Mace is distracted by some fairies. Sindel happens to be standing near the fairies with her candle that never goes out. I don't know how you transport that, but whatever.
Do you think that candle started a lot of house fires?
I don't know, but that's a really good question because the candle actually has an effect on the fairies and sucks them up Ghostbuster style, and then ironically goes out.
Okay, I had this question because it never gets addressed again. Do you think if they relight it, it frees the fairies? Or are they just like dead forever?
See, my question, I don't know if I actually put this question like later down or not, but like why, like what were the fireflies doing? They were just like there and they were like kind of tickling and playing, and she's just like, absorb all the fairies, they're gone forever, they're banished to the shadow dimension, I saved everybody. I didn't understand.
I don't either. Because the firefly that's left behind isn't clear, clearly appears to not be evil. I don't fucking understand.
Yeah, there's a fairy left behind, and Mace adopts it or something. And I kind of like the fairy character, like the way they did the effects of like how it moves.
It's so fucking cool.
It's very neat, and it has like a little face too, and it's like a light scribble, and it's just interesting.
Yeah, I thought
the fairy
that was
eats
like
laughter.
a super clever little, because it's like its own stop motion little thing. It was fucking neat.
Yeah.
Sorry, I really liked the fairy. I thought that was super neat way to do it.
The only cool thing in this movie, it also serves no purpose. There's no reason why fairy firefly things are in this movie. They weren't an obstacle, not an apparent one. Maybe something got cut out. I don't know.
So you said the fairies eat laughter, but unless it's actually they're eating the screams of the tortured and they're tickling people to death, I don't fucking understand how they present an issue here.
Maybe that's what was happening, but they didn't make it very clear because they're just they're like, haha, oh, they're tickling us. And then they're gone. And then they're just like, okay.
Yeah. I don't know. That child just murdered a whole grouping of fairies with no remorse.
Yeah. So they finally make it to the fortress of Gorax. And then Mace breaks the rock open to reveal an arrowhead that points and goes under a rock. And they don't... That's it.
The way it cracks open is also wild. It's like a plastic Easter egg.
Yeah, it's like a geode or some shit, but there's an actual arrowhead, and the arrowhead zooms under a covered cave. That's the purpose of it. Is there's kind of a cave over here, but you got to do the heavy lifting. Thank you, rock. The Ewoks adorn their wing headdresses at this point and leave Sindel and Wicket behind because they're children. Oh. Surely there's not going to be some come to save the day and don't judge a book by its cover nonsense is what I wrote. I don't actually know if that's true.
I don't fucking understand why they brought them all this way. If they were just going to leave them out of the action. What was the point of bringing 2 more mouths to feed?
Because the mystic Ewok said so and said that the totem needed people of patience and tolerance and virtue and shit.
Whatever the fuck. Also, I take umbrage with the way that they blasted their way into this fucking cave, because I feel like it really takes liberties with how blasters are supposed to work in fucking Star Wars.
Yeah,
He's just small laser beam until this rock explodes.
I mean, maybe it was a magic rock and I don't know. Mace and the other Ewoks finds a big web over a ravine and decides we should climb this, and then descends the worst looking Halloween decoration spider on fishing line that they didn't even try to hide. It sheens all the time on the lights.
Yeah, it's very obvious.
It's really, really bad. But it's okay because the priestess Ewok uses the crystal to hypnotize it so they could drop it down the ravine. And I don't know if that's the Force. I don't know how any of these gadgets work. Is the water trapping you the Force also?
Yeah, is this magic a different magic than that magic? I don't.
Is it the Force that makes it so that a rock spins around and finds a thingy? Because
fuck knows.
we get mad that like Leia is able to survive like 10 seconds in space using the Force to just kind of propel herself to a ship and just keep herself alive like a little bit. I played a lot of Star Wars video games, y'all. There's like shield powers and shit, okay? It's not beyond the realm of possibility in this universe for me. And like we have water ponds that trap children that magic sticks can bypass.
Yeah.
Like, chill out. Anyway, we're not sure if it's the same or a different one, but a spider goes to attack Sindel and Wicket, so they kill it.
It's Wicket's second cool move is he tips over, like the spider runs over him and he just stabs the shit out of its chest.
Yeah.
Also, that spider, again, with like the wild Halloween decoration, it looks like a wet raisin with legs.
Yeah, it's
quite the visage.
The head part is like kind of cool, but not a spider. Like it's like they took like a cool alien head and just attached it to Timmy's science project.
Yeah, it's definitely funky.
The caravan finds Gorax and has the parents in some bird cage. I don't know why, but I also don't know why they all decide to climb up the cage so that they can climb down the cage one by one.
Was so enthralled with this scene because it's so fucking stupid, and also the bars are 1,000% big enough that the parents could have just climbed out the whole time. It's high up.
Yeah,
but like I don't know. I feel like there were options.
I would have done it.
Yeah.
I have a fear of heights. I would have been like fucking frozen to the floor in the center of that. I've been like, nope,
nope. I'm
gonna wait for some teddy bears. Is what I'm gonna do.
I probably would have been like, that's only 5 feet, and then broken my legs.
So Mace uses Ezerina, which is the first and only time we hear the name of his fairy friend, to distract Gorax, which makes him smash around. And then like 90 boulders fall on the woodsman Ewoks.
I love that it was like specifically, it was like a tunnel of boulders falling on him.
It looks hilarious.
So wild.
Like he's just standing there, and all of a sudden he's just like.
I also love that Mace's response to his death is literally going, "Oh no."
Oh no. Anyways,
it's like, man. All right, I gotta go.
He's not a good kid.
No, the acting subpar.
Only sometimes. Like there's some scenes where it's just like you didn't have to try this hard, but sure, man.
But go off, King. Have a good time.
So they trip Gorax, the giant. Who knew that's how you kill a giant, is tripping them. Which I don't think works in the way that every Jack and the Beanstalk and whatnot. They always like trip them, but like their mass is relative, so it's not like a short fall is like for sure death. Like the same kind of distance that you would fall to die is not the same for them. They don't reach terminal velocity at all. I don't know what this rant is. Anyway, they trip Gorax, and the priestess Ewok uses magic to make a stalactite fall on his head, which does fuck all. So the mom just shoots him with the gun and he falls off the cliff.
Okay, 2 things. A, did you notice that the Gorax has like majestic, luscious locks, and because they keep putting him in slow-mo, it keeps doing like these really slow hair flips to get it out of the face of the
I did call him, like when I first saw him, I'm like some Minotaur guy, and like Minotaurs have like long, luxurious locks.
Yeah, they just like they 100% did multiple hair flip scenes that I'm like, was Star Wars really trying to be sponsored by Maybelline? Because it feels like it could have been a successful campaign.
By this point, Star Wars was such a massive hit, they didn't need to try for anybody's sponsors.
Also, the gun hasn't been charged. When they went to shoot up in the fucking cave, it almost didn't work. And then he went to shoot the spider, and it didn't work. So why is it suddenly now charged?
Maybe the parents had charging cells on them. Because like the way the guns work is like, there's like a clip, but it's just like a charged battery that you just take out and switch.
Who the fuck knows, man? Things that
it would make sense that the parents would have the batteries, and they're like, you can't have a charged gun, kid.
we only 50% charged that shit for you. Go have fun.
I mean, again, I'm not trying to defend the movie, but like they could have made some argument here. Like they could have just shown her going like slip into her pocket, but no.
There's so many things that we show or outright say, and I'm like, and you just thought, let's ignore this.
Yeah. This is that movie. And then if you weren't convinced that this is it canon integral to a Star Wars movie, somehow Gorax has returned. He's climbing up the ravine, so Mace throws an axe, and that makes him fall again. I think that's just his character arc. He was given the axe from the woodsman. He died, by the way.
Yeah.
So Mace says goodbye to the fairy. You probably have a family to go back to, he says. No, you ghostbustered them into a fucking candle. I don't even know why they never touch on that, ever. It's such a weird fucking thing.
Thoroughly convinced that the Mystic just had some, like, quest that they were personally on to fairy genocide. And they just kind of fucked up and missed one. Is it
Phaeacide?
He was, yeah. The Mystic was like, yeah, go camp here and light that candle.
Go in this direct path because there's a pond I hate that's cursed and I hate it. There's also some fairies that like stole my toast one time and I'm real bitter about it and I want you to destroy them. Here's a very special thing that will kill them that won't have any change on your pilgrimage to Gorax, but like I want you to take care of them for some rude reason.
Like, please, on your way. It's like when you go to the grocery store and there's, like a stop along the way somewhere and somebody's like, hey, go pick this up too. And you're like, oh, son of a bitch. All right.
Like, I know distance-wise on a map, you're like, that's on the way. But it's like, no, because I have to find parking and I have to get out. And like,
it's always
this is already
minutes.
This is already an extra like half hour out of my way.
Yeah.
You suck. And you're not paying anything for it. Anyway, so they go back to the Ewok village and die. That's the movie.
Did you notice that it ends on Burl Ives saying, having learned something they already knew, which, good. So you're aware that you wasted an hour and a half of my life. Thank you so much. Thank you, Burl Ives, for this final cherry on this shit Sunday that I just watched. Also, the credit roll never mentions any of the human actors. It's only the Ewoks and Burl Ives. The kids and the parents meant nothing. I
didn't even see that because by the time the screen started fading to black, I was exited out. I'm done.
It lists the Ewoks twice and none of the human beings. And I thought that was just so apropos.
So, Rachel, what did you think of this movie?
I'm going to be watching it every Christmas for the rest of my life because it has Burl Ives in it.
Do you think that by making this movie and releasing it and seeing the reception, you'd think, I should do another?
Yes, obviously. This was so successful. Why wouldn't we do more?
Would you like to watch the sequel to this, Rachel?
Oh my God, yes.
Because there is one.
Oh, Jesus, fuck. All right. We're locked in. Let's fucking do it.
Locked in? We're not even spinning the wheel? Okay.
No, I actually preemptively just spun the wheel, and it is pop culture. So
sure,
yeah,
We're locked
in.
Ewok Adventures Part 2.
I can't fucking wait. The
Ewok Adventures Part 2. The Caravan to Diabetes. That's funny. That's really funny. You don't know it yet.
You're like, sit on it. It'll get you. Speaking of Star Wars and transitioning into music, are you aware that the Cantina music was retconned because it was called Jizz? And then Disney bought it and was like, no.
That's what I'm talking about.
This.
Like, the dumb arguments of, the whole Han shot first, and it's like, he did shoot first, and I'm with you guys.
Yeah.
I don't know why it changed, because, they didn't even do it in an organic way. I don't know if you've ever seen the scene.
It doesn't make any fucking sense. If I shoot you with a gun first, I'm probably fucking hitting you.
But, they just changed it so that his neck breaks sideways, because it's like, he didn't shoot first. See, he's not a scoundrel.
He's just a ninja.
He's a scoundrel. That's his character.
Yeah, it's the whole fucking point.
It's this is why, because this is George Lucas being like, I wanted it to be this way. That's what I'm talking about. You can't let the man do anything.
He needs to be reined in. He needs to be left in a cage.
Also, I hate the Cantina song. I've heard it more times in my life than I would ever like to hear again.
Well, Gamage, in that case, Welcome to We Have New Jizz at Home. Can you tell me what you've been listening to this week?
All right. First off, I listened to No Get Erez. Not My Problem is the one I think you recommended outside of the podcast. Like you put this one for Gamage.
Yeah.
I love that one. It was like electronica pop meets funk. That's PHO funk. Ask your nephew. I don't know. It's a music genre that's like a feeling. I don't know how to explain it. A+ was a lot of fun. I really love hip hop in other languages because it like bypasses the bits of most rap I don't like. And it's just like the flow of melodic words. It's like the feeling you get. But the actual music in the song is real fucking good. You also recommended Dance While You Shoot and Mind Show. And those could not be more opposite sounds at all. Because one is chaotic cacophony and the other is like pleasant whispers. Myself, I loved Godmother the most. That's one
that one's really good.
Eden Benzaken. I don't know.
I trust you. It's fine.
For me, number 20 on the Gamage Rabbit list was going to be a band that I had some fun retro sounds that I'm like, ooh, but upon prepping for this episode, discovered that the lead singer is a groomer. So I get to skip that. But it's okay because this next band,
sounded half-hearted. I meant it very genuinely, and it sounded like me going, oh no, the Ewok died. Oh no, pedophilia.
But it's okay because I fell in love with this next artist like way more anyway. They're already pretty popular. Churches, spelled with a V instead of a U, is a Scottish synth pop band. They scratch like an 80s synth itch that while like still's kind of sounding modern. It definitely became one of my favorites instantly, and I'm glad to skip the previous artists just to gush on these people. I had such a hard time limiting their library down to just 3 songs, because every time I'm like listening to it, I'm like, this one, no, this one, no, this one. So I tried to go with like 3 different albums and eras of the band.
Okay.
So the first one is the one that first entered the Gamage Rabbit list, was just popped up that made me go, oh, I must have this. That's Clearest Blue. It's very new wave, very good. Second one is How Not to Drown, featuring the Robert Smith of The Cure, which has obviously darker themes to it, as it would. And my favorite is Graves. It's hard not to just replay it when I'm done. It's a really good song. The band is already pretty big, so like you probably like by playing like one of their songs, you'll be like, oh yeah, these guys. It's one of those kind of bands.
Okay, gotcha. You like catch their vibe.
Yeah.
Nice. I have been listening to a artist called Berry Blue. She does like, honestly, I was trying to figure out. Okay, actually, hold on. Let me go back. I listened to Snowblood, and you described them as a rave shoved into 4 minutes, and there is nothing more accurate that I have heard in my entire life. I went to listen to it, and I put it on while I was in the shower, so I like left my phone away and my speaker, and I was like, oh, I have committed myself to just like going like
yeah
it's
Vampire
good,
Love,
but you have to be prepared.
Like, oh, this is a good song, and then it's just like oh it's like way too fast, like at the drop of a hat, and then it's done and you're like, oh,
okay,
all right.
Yeah, I don't know what just happened to me, but I'm here. It's a song that I imagine if Dance Dance Revolution were still wildly popular, it would be one of those ones that's like nobody would ever be able to do this song with like a perfect accuracy.
No,
except for like the best in the world.
No, well, it would have been a shifting speed song like A or Healing Vision, the second one remix. I dabble. Or V. But there's like a lot of songs that just have like this like where it starts out slow and the arrows are even slower and then it like speeds up and the arrows come really fast. There's a lot of songs like that.
Okay. Well, Snowblood would have fucking killed it in Dance Dance Revolution era.
Yeah, this definitely would have been in like the Legend Z or like Maximizer kind of, or Legend Max 300, whatever kind of category of songs.
But for this week, I'm gonna recommend Berry Blue, who is like a pop but Thai indie sound, and it's like, I don't know, it's a pretty fun sound in my opinion. I kind of like the vibe of it, And then the fact that it throws in some like Thai elements to it is super fun. And the songs that I'm going to recommend are Poison Flip, the Lee G remix, In a Mood, and then Tragic Fantasies. There's Poison Flip and In a Mood are from the same album, and then Tragic Fantasies is from a different album that's a little less popular, but equally good.
Is it Barry the Color Blue?
Yeah, Berry Blue, all one word.
He's like an old singer.
Well, this one is not.
So it's just a new guy who's just named Barry Blue. He's just like, I know that there's a famous Barry Blue who's a singer. I'm going to make
woman,
other music.
But perhaps. I don't know. Or I think it's a woman. I don't know. Anyway, point being, not...
It's a woman named Barry Blue?
Yeah, like Berry.
Oh, Berry. Okay,
yes.
Because Barry Blue is Barry
yes.
Blue.
Yeah.
Which is funny because his real last name is
enunciated.
Green. That's funny.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I would do that just to fuck with people. So good for him.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did Dancing on a Saturday Night. Never mind. We'll be here all day.
Also, I'm sorry. I was typing while I was talking and I just realized, so I stopped.
Dumb bitch.
You stupid cunt. Anyway, thank you guys for listening. If you liked what you heard or you have controversial opinions about Ewoks, don't fucking include Warwick Davis, otherwise we're not listening to you. Fuck you. Like and subscribe on whatever your most favorite is podcasting places. If you want us to talk about a thing, you can email us at whtpah@gmail.com. That's @gmail.com. You can also follow us on Instagram at We Have That Podcast at Home, all one word, all spelled out, or whtpah on Blue Sky.
I wanted to thank me for the use of our theme song, Swing a Little Swing of Me, off of the album Eating Bagels Lovingly with Your Dad, and it is available at Empire Records.
And next week, you already know that we'll be tackling, and I'll save Gamage, the sound of me spinning the wheel, pop culture. Because we're going to do the fucking second
More
part
Ewoks.
of this goddamn Ewok movie.
Star Wars. I'm sure everybody was like, oh, when are they going to do Star Wars? We're doing Star Wars. Be happy.
Yes, be excited.
This is Star Wars. This is Star Wars. You can't be like cherry picking your fucking thing. There's a lot of dumb shit, and you gotta get over it.
You have to get.
I'm on Red
it
Damage.
all. And I'm Ludo Rachel, and this has been We Have That Podcast at Home.